I just woke up to go to the toilet, and this is still on my mind. It's still on my mind. And I was thinking, well, I mean, it's still on my mind, so I'm thinking about the whole thing. But what keeps ringing around in my head was so painstakingly obvious is that this double standard in people's minds that they can literally scream out, we're doing this in the name of Jesus, Jesus loves everyone, all these literal things they're literally saying, a whole room about 50 people saying that, whilst at the same time locking me out, locking a black person out, and locking me out. We can clearly see that without subconsciously ever maybe having to acknowledge it, the idea that this life with Jesus or this life with Christ doesn't include black people is, through symbolism, that's exactly what is depicted. And anyone that would say to the contrary with this example is, didn't say it for their own reasons, but they're not looking at it. They're not looking at it. They're saying it for their own reasons, but they don't want to see it. Like, they don't want to see it the way I see it, because you can't see it any other way. I mean, I'm so sick of trying to rationalize things or have other people, like, for instance, say if I go to Serena Williams now and I'm literally trying to tell her about tennis, and I'm trying to, like, she's like, oh, I think, this sort of thing's going on because, this happens and, I'm getting whatever carpal tunnel. I'm like, no, that's not what it is. What it is that your hand's just a bit dry or whatever. And I'm like back and forth with someone who's like got so much experience in what they're doing that probably benefit of the doubt should be given to that person in a sense. Whereas, like, in these instances, I'm getting people of not even the same walk of life as me trying to impose their worldview or how the world has treated them, and then trying to push that onto me, in a sense, because I'm the one explaining what's happened to me. They hear my information, and then, like, they push back with what they think it is, which is that I'm in the wrong, usually. I mean, no one's done this yet for this instance, but they'll usually position, oh, no, I'm mistaken, sort of thing. And it's like, no, I'm not mistaken, trust me, because, like, I'm not looking at it ignorantly. I'm not an idiot. I'm not saying that you say I am, but because of these qualifiers, I'm not looking at it frivolously. I'm not an idiot, and I'm not got a vendetta against these people. I think I'm like, can make a pretty logical, decision over half an hour's time from all the interactions, blah, blah. And it's like, in the end, we have to sort of agree to disagree, because they will keep pushing their worldview and try and place it on me much longer than they'll even think to sit back and be like, oh yeah, well, I don't know, maybe you're right. Well, I wasn't there. I haven't been through that. They'll keep trying to push. And even that in itself now I'm seeing is so entitled. If you tell me how it feels to have, straight hair, if you tell me how it feels to have white skin, whatever, I don't know, like how it feels like in the sun, or I don't know, like any sort of differences, how it feels to grow up Norwegian, for example, or Swedish, like one of my brother's boyfriends, he's Swedish. My brother has a boyfriend, he's Swedish. He's not got many boyfriends. But anyway, if he's trying to tell me something about being Swedish or being European, like, I've lived in Europe my whole life, but I mean, not out of respect, but just out of common sense, there was obviously only so much pushback I can give to someone who just clearly has more knowledge and more experience in any sort of field than I do. So just in anticipation of all the people who will spend just as much energy as I am trying to tell my story, they'll spend the same amount of energy trying to change my story in my mind and in everyone else's mind, and acting like they're trying to help. But the thing that really, I haven't even started yet, the thing that really fucking got to me is the black guy in there. Because I was determined not to argue with him, because it's like, what's the point? I mean, what's the point? But he kept telling me All right, when I told him exactly what happened, he's like, he didn't even say he didn't even say he can't believe it. He didn't nothing like that. It was just a case of, all right, well, don't let that ever ruin your experience. Still, don't let that stop you from meeting Jesus. Don't let anyone put you off. Jesus wants you here. I'm hearing all of this sort of stuff, but I'm thinking, really, like, I'm getting deep here. Just like generations passed and passed and passed and passed, all that talk, but it seemed like it ain't come through. Because you can tell me, don't let this happen, don't let that, don't let this, don't let that. But that ain't helping the situation. That ain't helping what's just happened. That ain't giving me no assurance that it won't happen in the future. That's not even acknowledging that what they did was wrong, really, because you're just telling me suck it up and deal with it, which is what I said to the guy. I said, all respectfully, because I know you're not using these words, but you're just telling me suck it up and deal with it. Like, that's weird. And now you're trying to tell me don't let that stop you from accepting Jesus. And I'm like, but Jesus, so-called Jesus' people who were literally screaming his name at the top of their lungs are locking me out of rooms, and you're saying don't let that. If like, for instance, if the Beehive, if I went somewhere and the Beehive were there, and they were acting hella janky, and they were literally trying to live the way Beyonce does, and then some of them tried to tell me, don't let that stop you from accepting Beyonce. I mean, it's such a weird parallel, but idols and stuff. I mean, you're not gonna like, if these are your boys and this is how they're going on, then what's the likelihood I'm gonna? But you're still trying to, in your own dumb ignorance, yeah, you're so washed out that you're telling me over and over again, don't let that stop you from accepting Jesus. And I say to the guy, on a logic level, on a scientific level, how are you telling me don't let my bad experiences stop me from thinking more bad experiences will come? Like, this is how people learn. This is what one of the major reasons for the conscious part of the mind is, so that repetition pattern can be built up, so we can have an idea of the past, so we can predict the future. This is literally what science is. Things that have happened in the past so many times that we can quite confidently predict that if you add two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom, I can highly predict it will become water. Why? Only because it happened before, and it keeps happening. So the idea of don't let your experiences shape you. If your experiences don't shape you, what will? So I mean, this is a black guy, pretending to be or saying he's Christian, and he's so cooked that he's like, sorry, what does the point of this mean? Because I remember I just woke up. He's so cooked that he's saying, what was the point of this mean? I might have to go back and listen to it. I don't really remember, but I'll just carry on because there's so many things. There's so many little tiny bits. And remember, I was just walking from my house to my mum's house. On the way past, I heard music coming from a church. I walked in. I said hello to the people at the door. I sat down. I was humming while people were singing at the top of their voice. I didn't know, but I was humming. Went out to smoke while I was outside, standing right outside the door. And it's only in a little alley. It's only in a little alley as well. So like, I was the only person on the whole street. But standing right outside the door to smoke, not even a meter away from the door, they locked me out. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so the whole thing, the guy's not even working smart. He's like, don't let that stop you from accepting Jesus. When I told him, oh no, I don't really know enough about religion, because I mean, he kept asking me how Christian am I, and I was just like, I just come here to just check it out. That's so phallically wrong. And yeah, that's what I'm saying about generations past, all that talk, but it's not helping. So like all this, him saying, don't let that ruin your experience, is just showing that he's so stuck on stupid that he doesn't realize that that is the experience. That is the experience. And I was trying to convey that to him. I was like, I'm not even here to start a drama, because this is your church people. Like, you're the ones you have to deal with them. When I'm gone, I walk away, and I'm not racist. Like, so I walk away, and these guys are still going to act like this and get themselves in a tizzle and get the next person in a tizzle as well. So, but I'm saying, I'm trying to give you some game here. I said, if you don't address, the fact that people are actually rejecting, in the name of Jesus, so-called rejecting niggers from the church, if you don't grapple with that, then you'll never get the fact that you saying, don't let that stop Jesus from no, your guys are if anything, your guys are stopping Jesus from connecting with people. Because if I weren't so determined and I just walked away, and if I was someone who's looking into religion, I'm not looking into religion. I don't want to be part of organized religion. And I'm not the sort of person that would just walk away, because I was like, how dare you lock me outside of God's house? If anything, I feel like, look, I'm the most holy one out of all of you, like, the way you just acted. So I'm going to stand here and show you, pull rank on you and show you, like, if anything, Jesus is talking to me and he's saying, you lot need to sit down, open up the door, give me the keys, I'll look after them for now. From the way you acted, you're not even quite even be trusted with this shit. But then he was like, and then he went on to say to me, he said, oh, but do you not want to feel the presence of God, Jesus? I said, but how? I think I did feel him just now. I felt him when I was being locked out of the building. That's what I'm trying to say. And you're like, just don't let that affect you. But I'm trying to show you how much, obviously, situations impact lives. They literally shape lives. So, like, you're saying, don't I want to experience Jesus? I'm saying, everyone was shouting Jesus as they locked me out and looked me in my eyes and walked away. 5 or 6 different people walking by, looking me in the eyes, randomly and walking away. That was me feeling Jesus. No, he was like, no, that's not it. That's not it. Obviously, I said, well, how can you tell me when I've had an interaction with the divine? Isn't that meant to be a personal thing? And then obviously he just couldn't do the whole, don't let this ruin your experience anymore. So he just started telling me, no, that weren't Jesus. That weren't Jesus. You'll feel it soon. And he said, do you know what Jesus would say to you? Jesus would say, blah, 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 blah. So he said to me, I said, okay, that's all good. And you've had a lot of advice for me, but I've got a question for you. What would Jesus say to them? Obviously, the first thing out of his mouth, I can't speak for Jesus. And this is why the whole situation is just so bewildering, because in this small half an hour time, I've been thrown every single which way mentally. Like, they're treating me like I'm a criminal. They're starting being aggressive to me. They're asking me, are you okay? Have you got a problem? They're like hiding their phones from me and stuff like that. And then, people who have no idea what's going on and starting looking around. And then then the black guy's coming and he won't leave me alone. And then he starts like kind of forcing me to accept Jesus. He was like, do you accept Jesus or not? Do you accept Jesus or not? I was like, mate, it don't work like that. Like, I feel like you're forcing me to. That's not how Jesus is meant to come into your life, as far as I know. Like, and you saying you're big on Jesus, but you're literally here saying, if you don't accept Jesus, then you might as well just go. And I was like, and then it switched to, why don't you accept Jesus? You don't accept Jesus, and that's the problem. And I was like, I never said I don't accept Jesus. And I said, I'm being very calm with you. I said, I'm not on here for no hype. I'm not on here for no drama. I tried to walk away from you. You tapped me on the shoulder, you went to come and talking, but you don't like what I have to say, when all I have to say is, can someone please tell these people that they acted completely out of pocket, with no incentive with no instigation to do it, no logical reason to do it, no motive to do it, no signals from me to do it, but they just literally ran me out of there for a whole half an hour. It was nothing but nasty and hostile to me. But nasty and hostile don't cut it, because they were literally acting as though, like, if I had to play some scenario in my head, they were literally acting as if I'm that guy, can't remember his name, they can't remember my name, but I'm that guy that's coming through every week, owes half the place money, stole from half the place, I'm trying to sleep with the other quarter of the place and scam 10 people. The last church done kicked me. This is how they were treating me, sort of thing. Like, no one was saying what, but they were all so much. Even at one point, I thought, oh, look, there's a desk with people with like official stuff. I'm going to get some information so I can talk about these people properly when I do it. I went to walk over to the desk. Before I got there, the black man had ran and literally the last 5 meters was him doing the fucking electric slide to get right in front of me. Stood there, what are you doing? Do you know how embarrassing that was for me? Because I'm thinking, I'm just walking from here to here, and you're making it look like I've got a bomb strapped to my chest. Like, I'm just trying to move A to B, and it's so weird. You know what? I need to stop stressing. That's the whole main part of it, actually. Because it's not surprising. It's emotional, but it's not surprising. But I'm still giving that sort of surprised emotion. Obviously, it's emotional, but it's not surprising. So I need to be more determined with this emotion, because that's the whole thing. Can you imagine if I didn't try and go into that church? Swear down, nearly all of my days from beginning to end, I'm so chill. I'll go to a park, I'll go see a friend, I'll climb a tree and smoke a joint, I'll do exercise, I'll practice doing a backwards walkover over a park bench for like literally an hour and a half, or literally sit on the grass when it's a nice day, wrap string around my two legs so that I'm sitting like with my legs out and try and do like a sideways. I'm just do mad stuff. Like I like to just have fun or whatever. I'm chill. I chill and I walk away from arguments. But because of them, they've literally come and they've terrorized. I've tried to come into a church and they've terrorized me for half an hour to the point where I'm waking up. Now, and obviously it's triggering because I've experienced racism before. I've experienced unfair prejudice before. I've experienced unfair, what do you call it, postulations, literally, where literally I felt it was exactly like I had some criminal record, some criminal past, and some serious misdoings that I weren't even aware of, but everyone else knew. And they was treating me exactly like they knew about all of it. And none of that was the case. And there's so many layers to this shit because none of them, I can almost guarantee, not one of them will have walked away as disturbed as I am by the situation. Probably not even disturbed. So probably as soon as I left, they were probably cool because let's face it, there was no reason to be hype in the first place. All I did was walk in the building, and I didn't even know that there was that they didn't want me in there until I tried to go back in and it was locked. That's the thing. So I didn't even know. I was minding my business for that 10 minutes. Minding my business. I was thinking these people are kind of chill. People were walking up and down like just screaming 69, 69, 69. Someone else was walking, like shouting something in Spanish or whatever. Someone was in the corner of the room just like looking at the wall. And then there's about 4 or 5 people on the stage. Like one of them was just like giving a mad sermon. Jesus is gonna love you. Jesus is gonna do this and then like 2 girls and a guy trying to sing every now and then. Someone on the drum. It was like amateur, but kind of like a vibe. Like it was like something's going on here. Maybe I'm even poached, like a musician or something. I didn't even realize that how it was until I tried to get back in. And only reason they let me in because I wouldn't go away. I wouldn't go away. And that's the thing, man. Why still on my mind am I asking myself, why the fuck did they do that to me? Why did they do that to me? Why? Because obviously, on a logical sense, I know it weren't me. Because I didn't do anything. I didn't warrant that response. So I know it's not me. Like, oh, what did I do? Am I just me? Oh, do I have a bad fit? I know it's not me in that sense. But still, the question is left. Like, why the fuck did they do that to me? And like, they didn't even have time to prepare it. But they all had that same feeling on me. And they all looked like they was from, like, yes, Southeast Asia. So I'm not trying to say all Southeast Asians are racist. But what I'm trying to say is, that one experience alone is enough of a, sample for me to be able to say, as a cultural thing, Southeast Asians are racist. Because you can't have a whole room full of 50 of them and literally they're either terrorizing me out of the place for no, they literally either, terrorizing, harassing, all these sort of words, terrorizing, harassing, manipulating, gaslighting, obfuscating, all these sort of things where they can just like be a sneaky, insidious, parasitical, vindictive person with no reason at all. I don't even know if they were enjoying doing it. But like, had people like hiding their phones from me. Someone else saying, you seem like you're going to get aggressive. Someone jumping in the way when I just tried to walk to try and ask, like, can I have a leaflet so I can get the name of this place? People like walking past and looking at the door and know they see me in there because I had eye contact with them while I was in there. But now walking past the door, realizing I'm locked out and just still walking past, literally less than a meter away from me. And I'm thinking, no. Because this is not how it works. That's why I stayed and I kept knocking, not loudly, wildly. And they couldn't even hear me anyway because the music was so loud and it's not a big church. So the music was so loud. I knew they couldn't hear me. But I thought maybe at one point there'll be a second break. But one thing is happening. I am not going to let, and I'll be real honest now because I'm feeling away, talking. So this is not how I feel just when I wake up. But this is the deep truth that's obviously real. I started thinking to myself, listen, I realized that Jesus was probably like Eritrean or Ethiopian or from somewhere around that region. But here and now today in this 100 meters squared space, which included the church and I guess the street, I'm the representative of Jesus around here because no. We got closer blood. We're second cousins or something like that. You lot are neighbors. And this is not even a thing neither here nor there, but I mean, no, I'm totally well within my rights for saying that, because I mean, it took for a whole church to throw me out and gaslight me and make me feel unwelcome for half an hour, for me to go and talk about it with my mum, do a bit of yoga with her, for me to come home, go sleep, wake up to go toilet, and I'm still feeling some kind of way, and only now I'm saying something as bigoted or as mean-spirited as saying, all of us, I'm the close related to Jesus, so how dare you kick me out? How dare you just sneakily lock me out of the church, no word, no reason, while you're screaming his name? That's a fraudulent. There's just so many angles of this that's wrong. And then I'll tell you mad shit. This is why I can't get on that idea when they say it don't matter what color Jesus was. It really does, and I'll say why it does, because it helps to prove the lies that everyone walks around saying. They can walk around treating me like that, and then tomorrow they'll walk around and still proliferate wrong and racist stereotypes about that will denigrate black people and how they're bad and mean and just this and the other. Whilst all the while, every time they're around, well, in a situation like I was in, they're going to be the ones like just putting them on edge, treating them like a criminal, treating them like they should be on death row. And that's the type of treatment. If you treat someone indifferently, but it's different from treating someone like they've done something wrong to you. But yet then they turn around and say shit like, oh, why can't you guys do this? Why can't you guys got this from you? It's always we have the problem, because just now I was in that church and they had a problem with me. Yeah, they couldn't articulate it. They just couldn't hide it. But then when I'm not in their space, then you'll go on the internet and you'll have people from these other races or groups saying, oh, well, you know, the thing about black people is, oh, you know, white people wouldn't be so bad if just this and that other. It's like, when I'm around you, you're trying to make me the problem just to make it, just so that you can have the lived experience, so that when I'm not around, you can be like, oh yeah, he was probably going to go to that church and steal a phone. Yeah, of course you're going to say something like that, because it's all I had to do was walk in and sit down. You ran to your phone and grabbed it and shoved it in. How long was that phone there? Because all the time when I was locked outside, it must have been on that chair. And you didn't bother, you didn't business. I didn't even know it was there. How could I have known it was, there was no way I could have known it was there. Because like, obviously the chairs are facing one way, it's on there. I hadn't even nearly got there yet. But he had to run to pick it up. That's mad, that's insane, that's unwell. Because I didn't even know his phone was there. But he had to, as soon as he saw me going that direction, he obviously clearly thought, yeah, I've got to quickly get my phone because, you know, he's going to take... What? That is racism. And that's racism that you can't say is not there, because this whole lie that someone has to say, oi, nigger, or... And I mean it in a racist way. And that's the only way to determine whether someone's being racist. Kiss my black foot, my back foot, my whack foot. Because listen, I'm an expert on racism because I've been black my whole life, and I've had people looking in my direction my whole life. Imagine how many times someone's looked in your direction. Okay, so say if you're a handsome guy, you kind of know when you get to centers, you kind of know if girls like you, or if you're gay, you kind of know if a guy likes you. You don't know 100%, but you kind of get vibes, because you know you're not numb out here, you're not dumb out here, you're not one out here. Like, you've been living life, and obviously, what is it? Life experiences build who you are. So you kind of build this repetition, you get a database, and you kind of start figuring out how to act, how to take chances accordingly based off what the responses you're picking up. So there is no argument for someone to try and dissuade me from when I say someone's being racist, even if that person's black, even if they're a writer on racism, because of my qualification in there. And another thing, if they weren't even in the scenario, how can they try and talk me out of what I was hearing, experiencing, remembering, energetic? So many levels. True this as well. The brain, the conscious, does not recognize subconscious behaviors, which is the perfect argument to prove that you racist people are the ones that are being racist. And the thing is, you don't even see it because you're acting in your subconscious. So as soon as I walked in the room, none of them even realized they were acting a fool, acting up, acting like They were chimping out, literally, but they didn't see it because it's a subconscious behavior. It's fight or flight, literally. It's behaviors that have been ingrained into their background, into their matrix, so that they don't even have to. They can be thinking about, they can be doing like long multiplication in their heads whilst being anti-black racist towards me, because it's that ingrained in them. It's like they don't even see that. And if you don't know anything about like the brain, look into it. That's real. It's not like is it kind of, no, that's a real thing. You literally, your subconscious takes over the activities that your conscious is not doing. So when my conscious now is thinking about something, that's why I'm not really aware of like how I move my head. Obviously a big one, my heart beating, like the specific words I'm saying, those are kind of going on overdrive because my conscious is thinking now on the experience I'm having. But then if I was to bring myself into the present, obviously then I can like look at, I see this is here. I can be conscious of actually how I'm acting. That's how the conscious works. The conscious focuses on something and it can hold and it can do it completely, but everything else is being carried by the subconscious. You can't have your mind thinking about Tuesday and also have your mind thinking about the conversation you're having now. Like the subconscious has to take over one part. So they're being in their racist era, in their race. This last few thousand years has been a racist era, but they're what's it? They're too stupid to argue. They're so stupid. They're so ignorant that they're blissful. Because it's like, they didn't even see what they did. All they see is after probably when I left, they're like, whoo, that was close. You see that? We had some young girls up in there. Who knows what he was going to do? I don't even know if that makes it better or worse. Because I'm like, so no matter what I do, they're going to think that way. But actually, yeah, no matter what I do, they're going to think that way. So I could actually even just start having fun with it. If there weren't so many people in the room as well, especially like something you can't have fun with, like when you see a black person who's been like, yeah, I understand, but you know, just don't let these whip marks on your back, you know, stop you from experiencing Jesus. But hold on, Jesus sent him. Yeah, but no, don't worry about it. It's going to be fun. Nah, bruv. Because you sound all kinds of, what do you call it, no way out. Or what's that thing, the sunken place, whatever, with the black people getting brainwashed. You sound all kinds of that because you weren't hearing nothing. And then you told me, you volunteered to tell me what Jesus would say to me. But when I asked you, okay, now give me what they would say to this group of people, I can't speak for Jesus with the words out of his own mouth. You see that subconscious behavior? So subconsciously, he's like, let me tell you what God's got planned for you. Because everybody knows. Clearly, it must be in his subconscious mind because he volunteered to tell me this is what Jesus would say to you. That's what he said out of his mouth. And then when I said, which is clearly a valid question, everyone can hear the logic and how valid this is. Okay, so what would Jesus say to them? He looked at me as if I was crazy and said, I can't speak for Jesus. I don't know what he'll say to them. So I'm the only one that's acting normal. I'm the only one that's being discriminated against and targeted and terrorized. I'm the only one that's actually being nice and trying to point it out. I'm the only one that's being rational, yet I'm the only one that's been attacked. And if you have to take a poll, at the end of it, I'm the one that's in the wrong to all of them. Maybe it's like it's an archaic record thing, or however you say that word. I just don't like to sit with the feeling it's like I've been misrepresented. Like me or don't like me is like really, that's my choice, isn't it really? Because I guess if you don't like me, that's because I've acted like a dickhead. I acted like a dickhead because I wanted to, I guess. So that's not about that. But it's like, if I save the dog and someone else getting the adoration, or if you know someone else murdered the little girl and they're blaming it on me, then that's what I have a big problem with, because it's like, no, that's not my energy. That energy's not for me. What are you doing? They fucked up my whole day, and it's the weekend as well. Why did they fuck up my whole weekend? What was the reason? There must have been a specific reason for them to give me this energetic charge, because I don't even know. Because I'm starting to get stuck. I'm starting to get myself stuck, because something's going to have to change. My niece is, 8 years old? And I would feel, I'll be so annoyed if when she's 14, from now to 14, if she's had to be beaten down by the amount of microaggression, racism from every single culture and race onto us, if she has something that's going to hold her back way too much, how is she going to be able to be even her normal, comfortable self at 21 when she's had people watching her in every shop she goes into? If she goes into a church, people start acting like you act, it gets to the point, obviously, like lived experience, you walk into places just with hostile energy yourself, because everywhere you go, they're pushing the hostile energy onto you. So before you know, that just becomes your reality, and you're just living in a world of hostile energy. You don't even know who started it or where it started. I've got a niece and 2 nephews. And for all black people, really, and for all people in the world, there's no point in anyone like discriminating and being shit against anyone. But the thing is, everyone does it to us, and we're the only ones that don't do it to anyone else except ourselves again. Who do black people on the whole look down on? No one. But we're the only ones really to have a reason to look down on people. And I'll tell you what the reason is. We're the only ones that act humanely. We're the only ones that act humanely and don't have to be forced to do it. We're the only ones that don't seem to have this inherent genetic needs to be oppressing or making sure someone else is underneath you. So in that sense, we're the only one that actually has the right or the moral high ground to look down on anyone because of the way everyone's acted. I'm not going to stop from your own accords, because as far as you're concerned, this is the treatment for black people. I don't know how that came about. I'm sure it weren't always that way. I'm sure it's just an indoctrination thing. But on a mass scale, everyone's stuck in this loop of the church scenario. You would be surprised. I'd be surprised at how many times I actually get that treatment, and black people around the world get that sort of treatment, or just that sort of implying the treatment. It could just be a 2-minute interaction. It could just be a walking past someone on the street interaction. And I know all those are very different, but what I'm saying is, when someone's looking at you like you're the problem, when someone's looking at you like, I know you, guard up, it's about to be up. There's not so many ways you can give that look. So, whether it's an hour interaction, a week interaction, a 1-minute interaction, if it's up, it's up. And I bet even I would be so surprised at the amount of times that I've had to combat that and not even been aware of it, because it's like, that's not even necessarily my energy. But how many times have I probably gone off and had really had a fucked up day, or it's been on a lower day than I could have been, and it's like, when I look back at the situation of why, if I could pinpoint why, it would be because I walked somewhere and people just started to try to pick at me, to break up my defenses, to chip away at my aura, to leech off my energy, to succubus off my beautiful, and I'm not saying it because of colour, but I'm saying it because of my family, and I'm proud of literally my mum, my dad, but for my beautiful, strong, healthy genetics, energy and everything. I walked into the room, and obviously them with their brain parasites and their whatever they've got, and each individual one has probably got an ailment here, an ailment there, that has them feeling on a kind of low every day. I feel a lot of people must just be like that, because a lot of people just mean. So when I walked in the room, something inside them must have just felt, oh, that feels good. And they just had to start stealing it, literally, as if I was just, a big golden statue of me, and they were just walking up trying to just grab bits of the gold so they could, stop being so poor. But that's hard to deal with, because I'm not fucking peaceful solid gold, and I do have my limits, and my energy is enough for me. My energy is meant for me. It's going to lead me through. It's going to make sure me and minds get to do and control my energy how we want to. So even though all of this, and I don't know, there's so many things I say are the worst thing about it, but really one of the worst things about it is that there's no safe space. There's no real safe space for black people, because there's not even any designated or like acknowledged safe space for black people. So for people just be like, for anyone to have the notion of, oh yeah, when you can just go to your home, or you can do, no. The fact that there's no designated space for black people to have a safe space. I don't mean safe as in from violence, safe as in to probably just relax and know that you're not going to turn on the TV, like the TV show I saw today. I've never seen it before, but until today, Prime. First episode, what's the premise of the show? White guy and a black guy. The black guy, dumb, he's an idiot. He tries to rob a bank, and then he calls his white friend, doesn't tell him why, and just asks for a lift home. And so they both end up getting whatever, like life in prison, whatever, but because of the black guy, because one, he was dumb, and two, he dragged his life, and then it's like, oh, you ruined my life, and it's a comedy about that. Like, I come home and I turn that on and it's made blatant. Why is he a black and white person, and the black person was dumb and did the entire crime by himself, but then got the white guy who was, about to move to Australia and do good for. In 2026, I turn on my TV, I got to deal with that. Then I go to a church and I'm being silently chucked out and silently sentenced in some sort of silent Christian East Asian court. Like, so when I say a safe space, I mean an actual space where you just know, all right, like you just know, like, whether it's effective or not, whether it's powerful or not, no one's gonna come and try and have a jab at you where you're just not expecting it. No one's coming up with a shank from, because that's what these little microaggressions are like. They're just like little stabs, little shanks all day, every day. Like, there's no such thing as a safe space for black people. And that's the biggest part of it. That's actually the worst part of it, because whether they all thought I was in the wrong wouldn't matter if I could go somewhere and actually decompress. But even the vast majority of black people that used to be my friends, they're not my friends no more. They're all raccoons. They're all saying things all the time like, oh, leave the white man alone. Slavery weren't that bad. I'm not trying to come up to the white man, but what I'm saying is, you haven't even researched history because you say you don't want to go over it. So how can you tell me to leave someone alone and the treatment weren't that bad when you haven't? That's just evidence of your dick riding, because you're just saying it without evidence. And one of them told me something else where he said, you will never get me to turn against my white brothers. I never asked him to turn against them. I never asked him. I just said to him, why are you always glazing white people whenever I talk about something like, how slavery was bad, or, we could be doing better, or this and the other, or, don't think that black people just don't get on, there was pitted against each other and learn better. And he's always got something bad to say about it. So I just asked him why, and then he came out with that statement. I was like, oh my God, get out. That's it, get out. I was like, get out. So there was that. Another one of them, what did he say? Oh, my friend from Yoruba trying to tell me, no, British didn't enslave Yorubans. Why? Because, we were good businessmen, so we didn't get enslaved. We will work business with them. Are you so dumb and stupid and ugly at the same time? You're not ugly, I just added that. But what makes you think they're going to go and colonize, rape, and pillage and kill everywhere around you, but because you guys are good at business, they're not going to do it? Mate, they didn't have to do it. They didn't have to kill or be paedophilic or rape anyone. They could have literally probably just gone in with force and not terrorized and tortured people, but they still did it everywhere they went. But you wanted me to believe you when you say they didn't do it to you guys because you had an abacus, or because you read Donald Trump's top 10 business bonanzas, or you're just looking to be dumb. And there's so many of them like that. Mixed race guy trying to tell me, yeah, being light skinned is like being super sane. Do you know what I mean? Just get privilege, just better looking, walk into a room, any girl wants you. I didn't even have to turn to me. I just sent him, but you have to describe it better than that, because my older brother, he's darker than me. He will get way more girls than you. You look whack compared to. He's way more confident than you. He's got swag. So what's this super sane? But he just kept saying it just is what it is. And that's the state everyone's got into. It just is what it is. And that's the state. That's not acceptable. And everyone can think it is what it is. But in this world, in this society, how it is that I'm inherently a problem. So there needs to be a safe space, because I don't mind them thinking that that's cool, as long as I can take myself out of it, because they keep making me play that dance. And all of us, whether you want to accept it or not, if you're black, male, female, trans, whatever, if you're black, there is no safe space for us. And maybe you're just balls to the wall, whatever, so coked up or so Stockholm syndrome that you don't mind. You know what I mean? Some people are like that. Some people are ready to die. They're like, do what you want, I don't care about my own life anymore. So most people are going on. But if you're not like that, then the only thing that's hard, because I don't care how someone sees me, but the thing is, I need to be able to go somewhere and actually be myself, instead of always being in spaces where inevitably, or in the end, who I am will be dictated to me. Because if you keep treating me like a problem in that church and this and that, and walk and follow me, then obviously I start getting hostile, and then the more hostile I get, like the more agitated I get, and then in the end I'm going to be the problem. You know what I mean? And I'm never free from that, because I'm not saying it happens every single place in the world, but I'm saying I'm never free from it, because one, every other race does it to us. Not every single person from every single race, but every other race does it to us. So no matter where I go in the world, or no matter where I might be in any part of the world, it's populated by other people. So it's possible it could happen. Two, no one cares when it happens. Like, no one cares. People say, oh, that's bad. People say words, and I don't doubt their words, but no one cares, because when you care about something, you put attention to it, you put direction to it. So what I'm saying is, if people cared, then they would take measures to make it not happen again. Anytime, whatever, there's some sort of anti-Semitic hate, we see this sort of shit go up and down. It goes like, I don't think the Jews have ever slid backwards since the end of the Second World War, and they shouldn't have to slide backwards. But that's what actual progression looks like. That's what caring looks like, about a people, or caring about outcomes. So people don't care. People don't care. They have an automated response or whatever. If they do care, then their caring is my version of indifference to suffering. So it just shows me what sort of time they're on anyway. But because they don't care enough, like they'll do it, or their friends will do it, or they'll see it being done, and they won't even really register it as like is what it is, because it's like if you've got that younger cousin, whatever, and you kind of always not pick on him, but you always, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, go away, stop bothering. You've got like that kind of energy. You don't even realize, or you treat them like a little problem, and then maybe you're both in your 20s or 30s, or maybe before, and then you kind of realize, oh shit, I have to stop treating like that. He's actually kind of. There's not even none of that. Like, they're just always treating us like we're the problem, and they don't care to change, and they're all doing it. So when they see each other doing it, it's not like they consciously go, oh yeah, the racists, like the strong hardcore racists do, but the majority of them it's just learned behavior. It's just what happens. It's just what they've seen. It's like, maybe they questioned it when they were teenagers, but their parents did it as well, and obviously their parents gave some sort of reason for it. Their grandparents were even worse and gave some sort of reason for it. So everyone's giving some sort of excuse as for why they're doing it. And the point of the matter is, it's just excused. It's just clearly meant in their heads, meant to happen. And without a safe space, like, because they're also weak, and the way I say, they're also weak and irrelevant anyway, on their scale of whether, like, are they a threat? Are they a problem? Could they literally stop me from, having a good life? No, they couldn't. The only way they could is if I have no safe space to retreat to, and really, like, no allies, because, the only other black guy in the church was literally running in the way, so I couldn't even go and talk to people out there, and acting like he was security. He was the one trying to tell me, you got to leave because you don't, Jesus, you don't, Jesus, that. He didn't even address at all that they locked me out and kept me out. He just said, don't let that ruin your experience. Sorry that happened to you. And if you don't accept Jesus now, you got to leave, because everyone here just wants to pray. Never. Oh, and he did address them. His comment to me about them was, I don't know what Jesus would tell them. That's all he had to say about their actions. But what I should do about their actions and how I should feel about their actions took him a whole half an hour. That's mad. 43 minutes. 43 minutes, and I could keep going. But there's no point. I'm going to like this subject here, microaggression, anti-black racism, white supremacy, sort of under an umbrella, because I said that's the kind of hierarchical thing I put on. This is the reason, the sole reason, and its many different nuances, is the sole reason why I'm not living the exact life I want to live. And I can say that confidently, because from that one experience, and I don't even remember what happened throughout the rest of the day, but believe me, I'll go to Ravenscourt Park nearly every day. So every single morning when I go there, at least 12 horrible experiences with older white people or older Asians, from old white women telling me, oh, my dog's barking at you because of your face. Literally, oh, it must be your face. Or the dogs bark at me, and I'm looking at the owner on many occasions, and they'll just start barking at me. I'm saying, can you tell your dog something? Oh, sorry. And then they jump in, and I'm like, what do you mean? Why do you look at your dog like circling me and barking at me and acting aggressive. Why did you just stand there and look until I tell you to do something? What were you looking at? Like, what were you waiting? What were you waiting for? Was you waiting to see what would happen? Was you waiting for the dog to start speaking English? Was you waiting for me to pull out a knife? What were you waiting for? Why do I have to inspire you to grab hold of your dog? And then I start asking questions like, are you dumb? Like, I hope you don't have children, because if you let your dog go around like acting like this to people and you don't even think to step in, like, you must be a shit parent. So yeah, so I know every day I'm going through starting the microaggressions, but my point was, just from that one experience, messed up my whole evening from 9 o'clock onwards. Couldn't even enjoy being around my mum like I normally do, like laughter and all this sort of stuff. We're close, but couldn't, because of that experience, I didn't want to push onto her. Come home, go to sleep kind of earlier than I would, wake up, and now talk for 45 minutes about it still. So I know for a fact the only reason why I have not had the clarity of mind and the strength of will to be exactly where I want to be in life is because I've been bleeding, hemorrhaging energy and time, rationalizing and trying to not internalize the anti-black racism from other people who have been pushing it onto me. And watch, I'll have about 8 of my people I would call friends, or that they consider themselves my friends, that are in this case white, but at least 8 of them that I can think of on top of my head would be like, trust me, it probably wasn't like that. Who does that sentence help? It helps you, because then you could, if I say, oh yeah, you're probably right, then you ain't got to hear me talk about it no more, innit? Because even if it's 50-50, it's 50-50 and I'm right and you're wrong, then that's a big thing to be wrong about. But if you're right and I'm wrong, then it's like, oh, well, yeah, well done. Yeah, you were right. You weren't even there, but lucky you were right. But if you're wrong, it's just quickly, frivolously, trust me, it probably wasn't like that. Oh, I'm just saying it to try and be... No. Honestly, that's also part of the conditioned, evolutional, epigenetic thing of slavery and oppression, where it's like now you kind of lost feeling. You can't throw away that comment like that over a subject. I mean, it's not like someone said someone took my Freddy chocolate bar from the staff room. Oh, they probably didn't notice. That's the sort of thing like that. But when it's like someone dehumanizing you, triggering things that have historically been used to dehumanize literally you, and their response to oh my gosh, this historical and terrorizing dehumanizing has happened to a friend of mine right now, and their emotional response is not even the words maybe, but a level of that. Friend? Even if the words are, that is so terrible, we should really do. No, but I mean, it's that much energy they've got for it. Why? Because they've whipped us for so long. They've hung us for so long, lynched us for so long, burnt us for so long, tarred and feathered us for so long, chopped off body parts for not bringing back enough minerals for so long, for so many hundreds of years, and they did it right in front of their children while they were even still suckling on the breast. So what do you expect? Same way black people have the lasting legacy of slavery, so do white people, and it ain't just the inherited debt and the inherited wealth. Okay, monetarily and physically, white people went up, as in they inherited wealth, and black people went down. They inherited debt. But on the flip side, spiritually, white people on a whole, or the ones that obviously had that evolutionary period, because for like 500 years, there were people seeing it from birth, death. It was their whole life. These people are cooked, because as well, they're in a position of power, so they don't even have, like, what's gonna make them decide, oh yeah, I want to feel emotion to that extent again. You know what I mean? They're like, you're trying to tell me I'm racist and like my ancestors did bad. No, they didn't. I don't want to hear it. Like, it's not bothering me, so like, I don't even have to listen to it. So like, what's gonna even inspire them to get their humanity back? And I'm not saying every white person, like I said, But what I'm trying to say is, it is just as real as the legacy of slavery on black people. The legacy of slavery on white people is the majority of them, they're vacant behind the eyes in a sense. They can talk, they can this, they can that, they can have sex, they can, make people laugh, they can say I love you, they can say, oh, this feels great. But really, if the floors only go up to level 5, then you can say it's great at the top. But if there's actually meant to be 100 floors on there, then you'll never really, then your top is your top and the real top is the real top. So in your ignorance, you can be blissful. So why should I even care? Like, I'm not saying, oh, I don't care, I'm happy, but why should I even care if, that's your bag? Because no one wins, mate. No one wins, because your bag of being dehumanized and having that lust for black pain and the stupidity and ignorance to not understand it will mean you'll keep perpetuating this sick fetish fantasy feeding frenzy where it's like, you need my pain, you can't fathom your own, you need to feed off my pain, you can't fathom your own, monstrous persona or barbaric traits or personality, that is like, you both have to go on completely ignorant and blissful. You'll just make out that I'm the problem, and then you'll keep making out the problem until I buckle or till I react, till you crash out, and then you get that energetic pain from me, and then you're fed for a while. And then, but just like through slavery, when you whipped us and said, no, you're bad, you're bad, you're bad, you're doing it the exact same way now. It's just a sense of everyone's just going to treat you like you're bad anyway. Maybe you'll get physical, maybe it won't. But I'm saying now, that's just a hit or miss. But back in then, it would always get physical. But now it's just hit or miss. But you'll just treat me bad, 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 until you get that emotional pain that you want from me. And then you'll be like, oh, wait, look at him acting like that. Oh, we're the silver. And then, but next time you need your hit, well, probably just greedy and every time black person's around. But next time you need your hit, and you can't you have that cognitive dissonance of your pathology, so you can't admit it to yourself and never heal. Next time you need your hit, you're gonna jump online and start bad-mouthing black people. Oh, why do black people do this? Why do black people do this? Why do you care? Like, literally, why do you care? Why do you care? You care because you wanna be us. You care, the ones that care. I'm talking about the ones that care. You care because you hate it because you ain't it. It's on your mind all the time because it ain't in your body. Like, that's it. You want my pain because you can't have my pleasure, the pleasure of being me. So you want to extract that pain from me and see me in pain, because then you think, oh, it's not that good being him, clearly, because look how he feels now. But you have to keep coming back, because every time you're not doing that to me and you just catch me at the corner of your eye and I don't know you're around, you see from how I live how fucking great it is to be me. So you can't even convince yourself that it ain't that great being me, because when I'm doing my things, you just look and you're like, fuck, man, I wish I was him, clearly. So 53 minutes, 5 and 3, 6, 7, 8. So I'm gonna keep going to 59, 54, sorry, because then that'd be 9. Let me close this out with this. I'm gonna take all this energy, and today on this Saturday, I'm gonna make sure that my niece benefits from this experience. She's only 8, so she's not going to be able, I don't want to like verbally sit down and communicate this, but I'm going to put today's experience, and I'm going to make sure that on this Saturday, my niece is going to benefit from that so subconsciously, just so thoroughly in her, it just becomes part of her matrix, and she's just going to learn something with a heart, though. She's going to feel a comfortable and warm feeling about something today that's going to last her very strong in her lifetime. I'm going to say this now. I'm going to put this all on Instagram and see what below.